Mehdi Hasan appeared on Chris Hayes' show on MSNBC, and he absolutely went just straight up ham, and he just completely goes off and just really goes on this. He just kind of schools them, educates them, and he says some things that I don't even think I've heard on mainstream media before. But we will take a look at that really quickly. I just want to let you guys know that I'm over on Patreon, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. There's a bunch of extra premium content over there, so make sure to become a patron, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. Link in the description box down below. There's a ton of patron-only content over there, so make sure to go check that out. It is very crucial. Again, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. Link in the description box down below. Now, let's go ahead and jump into Mehdi's talk here.
Biden's now the front runner.
Yes.
You can hate Bernie Sanders all you want. You can think he's a crazy communist who can't win in America. Fine. But the reality is, if you turn to Joe Biden and say, well, he's the safe candidate, I think you need to do a lot more soul searching, a lot more examining. This is a candidate who's not been vetted, really. In most of the debates, he's hidden in amongst the kind of 10, 12 candidates. He's not been asked about the bankruptcy bill. He's never really been probed about the Iraq war and his kind of turnaround on the Iraq war. And I just don't get why Democrats, as you pointed out to Barbara Boxer, think that you could just rerun the 2016 playbook and not think that Donald Trump will rerun his. I mean, they tried to run a pro-Iraq war, pro-Wall Street establishment Democrat with a history of dubious claims and dodgy dealings and dodgy comments about mass incarceration and super predators. Where did that end up? You know, what's the old saying? Insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. There's so many things in play. If you're talking about conservative Democrats in swing states where, you know, the Doug Jones and you mentioned kind of Sinema and others, of course there are very, very specific evaluations they have to do looking at their own backyard. And I get that. I'm not going to say there's some kind of sweeping broad, it's Bernie or Biden. I'm saying both candidates are flawed. As Barbara Boxer said, nobody's perfect. Yeah. My worry is this idea that Biden is the guy who's going to beat Trump because he's got, what, some kind of moderate center ground appeal, when that just didn't work in 2016. He's got so much baggage. And this idea that, oh, he's just got a stammer, that's why he gaffes. He spent much of February falsely claiming that he got arrested in South Africa trying to go see Nelson Mandela. You were going to see attack ads like we've never seen before, hitting Biden on all his record. And he may still win, but I'd like the Democrats to at least hold him to account for some of that stuff now. And there's one more debate in a couple of weeks. For Bernie, it's probably coming a little bit too late after Michigan. He needs that debate now, because I actually think Biden would suffer hugely in a one-on-one debate where he can't hide behind other candidates. He flags in debates when there's 10 people on the stage. I don't think he can survive a 2-hour debate with Bernie one-on-one.
I do agree that a one-on-one debate would be really useful and illuminating for all concerned at this point.
That was absolutely amazing. The dude just straight up went on there and just put on a freaking clinic, bro. Just point after point. He hit everything so eloquently and concisely and just hit it out of the park. But the most crucial piece that you saw there, this is something I have not heard a single effing person on mainstream media say, is to talk about and report on the fact that Joe Biden lied about getting arrested to visit Nelson Mandela in South Africa. If the mainstream media had any modicum of journalistic integrity of any sort left, they would have reported on that. Do you have any idea how huge of a story that is? Imagine for a second if Bernie Sanders had done the same thing. Do you think the mainstream media would have been silent? Absolutely not. Imagine if Bernie Sanders had the same gaffes and clear mental problems and cognitive decline that Joe Biden has had. Do you think that the mainstream media would refuse to report on it? Of course not. And so it disgusts me that they don't. And, you know, a large reason why he dropped out of his first presidential campaign was because, you know, and I don't know the state of journalism back when he first ran, but it was at least good enough to where they did a scathing report of him stealing he completely gypped and plagiarized an entire speech from, I think it was a labor leader in the UK. Don't quote me on that. I forgot, honestly, for sure. I think it was a UK leader. Might have been a labor leader. He just straight up gypped it, and they called him out on it. You know, I saw this really good, I think it was on PBS or something, but they just totally just demolished him for it. Not a single person has stated this that I have seen. Not even one, all right? So shout out to Mehdi Hasan. I think he's the only one. There were some pieces written, but no pundits or anybody talked about it. You know, if I'm wrong, you let me know. You tell me who the other person is to say that. But to explain that, you know, they're trying to now say, oh, you're just making fun of Joe Biden for a stutter. That's not a stutter. That's not a stutter. That's him, his brain not working properly. Stuttering is like having trouble, you know, saying it verbally getting it out. That's something like, oh, you don't have any like faculties in terms of thinking, and you're having memory problems, and you're also having trouble in terms of getting the words out. It always looks like it's difficult for him to even speak in the first place. So it's not just like that. And I love the point that he makes. There's a point a lot of people haven't been making, which is the debate point, which is that, you know, he hides in these debates with a lot of people. That's what he does, right? He hides in these debates. And so imagine him in a 1v1 debate. And Bernie Sanders, funny enough, he floated the idea, I think twice now, about a one-on-one hour-long debate on healthcare. So I think Bernie's going in that direction too. He's like, okay, let me expose his mental capacities falling so hard without being straightforward about it, because obviously he can't do that. People will be like, oh, boo. Julian tried doing that. It didn't pan out. The audience booed him. But he did a really, really great job there. And what's sad, and I think this was planned probably, was there's no debate. So what happens is next Tuesday, which is in 5 days from now, next Tuesday we have 6 elections. All right, it's like Idaho, North Dakota, Washington, Michigan, Mississippi, and Missouri. Those are all happening on Tuesday, and there's no debate until the 15th. So we have to wait 10 days for those. So it comes away after, and so Joe Biden is starting to hide. There's hide-in Biden is what's going on Twitter that's getting trending. So it truly is a travesty that we're not going to have a chance to really expose him for his lack of mental capacities. But it sucks, man. But shout out to Mehdi Hasan, just putting on a clinic, dude. Wow.